Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about the digital asset space, and let's get right into it today, one take and uncut. So in the previous video, I did show what Stuart XRP shared here, and as we can see, it was the Everest document sharing, near real-time gross settlement payments cross-border for UK Tier 1 bank. We can see where Ripple, fits into this solution, along with Earthport as well. Their partner dated back from, well over 5 years at this point. So again, now to tie it back in, and again, this is XRP_Stuart. I'm going to show you guys a really cool video that he actually shared above this as well with the Interledger protocol. Again, guys, Stuart XRP, I'm going to link his channel in the description of this video. Highly recommend, if you guys are sick of people, just talking about the news and you want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, honestly, I highly recommend you just watch his channel, check out some videos. Again, it's all Ripple people, executives, bankers, etc., talking about the ecosystem and where they see it. So highly recommend it. And I just want to thank him for all of his hard work. Let's get him to 1,000 subscribers. All right, so this video, I'm going to mute it. Again, it's just kind of music in the background, but I just want to show you this. So Everest 2018 Interledger protocol, we got Quilt connectors, the roadmap. We are, talking about, Hyperledger Fabric, plugins with Corda as well, with R3. We have Quorum, a bunch of huge groups in the payments with Ripple. So I'm going to show you this. Let me see if I can full screen. I'm worried that'll cut it off. So I'm just going to play it from here. All right, so right here, we can see the Interledger protocol stack. We can kind of go through here and compare it, application layer, transport layer, core layer, network layer compared to TCP IP. Of course, the transport protocol for data, whereas Interledger will be with value. All right, now, and of course, we can see Corda here. And now, as we go through this video, you can see over $1.4 billion has been invested over the past 3 years on the venture capital end alone, right? We can see global interest is soaring. We can see over 2,500 patents are filed for DLT specifically over the past 3 years. We have 24 plus countries investing. We have 90 plus corporations having joined the blockchain consortia. All right. And we have central banks, of course, 90 plus central banks are engaged in this DLT discussion. Just talking about the awareness growing, regulatory uncertainty, everything's kind of growing exponentially here. All right, next up, we can see the timeline, of course, when mainframe computers came to be, Microsoft NTT Data, which of course kind of created this document along with Everest. So Everest is an NTT Data company. Excuse me, we can see Amazon, eBay, HTTP, etc. And then when we move along, we can see from 2009 to 2030, and the plan is here. Ripple executes international money transfer between all banks, and really, guys, this comes down to Xcurrent. I mean, absolutely, you're getting the standardized messaging platform. You can get the rates confirmed beforehand, and then again, Interledger protocol will help basically become the standard protocol for connecting the banks, their cash ledgers, all right? Online banking, mobile banking, banks, corporates, etc., connecting all of these networks. And the cool thing is, it's value agnostic, so it can send any cryptocurrency, and typically ILP will pick the most efficient path. And ideally, they will use the digital asset that has best scalability, security, can settle, quickest, the fees, etc. And hopefully that will be XRP as the liquidity increases. And it has to be relatively an open source protocol because it's based upon trust. It's not just going to be a central bank digital currency that is meant to, interoperate between groups. It has to be on a permissionless basis. And that's why the XRP ecosystem is becoming more and more distributed over time. All right. So we can see the maturity. And then, of course, once we talk about capital markets, trade finance maturity with R3 Corda, this is where the big money, the trillions of dollars comes into play. All right, and then we're going to go here. You can see Ripple. I know we've already shared, everybody's been sharing this document. Love for Crypto originally found it back in 2017 as well. And we can see Ripple there. You can see the Interledger stack. Now the solution path. So we can see proof of concepts, they sprint, then they work on, pilot integration with maybe, $100, a small payment just to get to and from, testing the finality, the speed, the fees, and sometimes it can be fake altogether. And then after that, full production mobilization. So it's full-scale deployment of the tech to enable integration with transactional systems in real time with full traceability. That is why, Xcurrent or, even Swift GPI are better today because you're able to track the payments. we can figure out where our UPS package is when we're sending, or receiving, a package or an order off Amazon, yet it's a lot harder to track the payments in the modern infrastructure today. That is why a lot of these banks are doing an update. All right, and sorry about any background noise, guys. There's some remodeling going on, and the dogs are kind of being goofballs today. But all right, as we go on, and this is on Blockchain Academy. So we can see the payments here. We got Earthport and Ripple, the two behemoths. We can see ILP at the center with Hyperledger Quilt, digital identity, of course. I know we've heard about this with Ethereum, Fabric, Everest ID, etc. You got the API solutions to connect and allow, further interoperability and connect to different ecosystems and softwares. And then smart contracts, all right, for financial assets. So we have Corda and we have the Hyperledger Fabric. All right, case studies. You can see cross-border payments, and now the benefits: pre-transaction communication plus full traceability. Remember how I said you can get your actual, foreign exchange rates, confirm everything. If there's another path that's cheaper, you can take that. But if it makes sense doing xCurrent or Swift GPI or any type of payment, you'll be able to decide and know the cost of it before paying for it, instead of getting a payment lost in limbo. All right. Real-time settlement execution for cross-currency payments, lower liquidity, and CCP risk. So for those of you that do not know, CCP risk can be like central clearing counterparty risk. Also, it's called central counterparty risk. Basically, when, a financial institution is taking on that counterparty credit risk between the parties for a transaction, they provide the clearing and settlement services for trades. Basically, this is what cryptocurrency digital assets allow, is disintermediation, getting rid of the middleman. All right, considerations: global reach will require adoption. So this is why I say it's all or nothing. But when you look at these groups, NTT Data is, it changes, but I've seen at one point it was the fourth largest IT firm in the world, and they own a bunch of companies such as Everest. So it's an all or nothing approach, in my opinion. Now, cross-border payments. Keep going here. As we can see here, international payments today. You can see on the SWIFT system, the Nostro debit and, FX relationships on the core, correspondent banking network. We see, domestic and international rails, ACH with the Federal Reserve or FedWire. You got SEPA, as I say, for the European Central Bank. All right. You can see how many days it would take for payment matching and instructions. And of course, the settlements, it's like throwing a football and hoping they catch it, and you're not really sure where it is along the way. International payments today, we can see Federal Reserve with the ACH, they're sending it, fees. You're really going through a few groups. It's quite messy. And of course, as they can see here, limited transaction visibility. All right, and there's operational costs, there's capital costs of holding the pre-funded accounts, money's lost, there has to be human intervention, and of course paying a person per hour to figure out this, or various groups, and putting them on to find, $7 million that has been lost, or we don't know when it's going to arrive to our supplier in China. It's absolute ludicrous. All right, and then next up, showing Ripple now, international payments with Ripple. So payment matching and instructions, payment flow, funds flow. You can see all of this instantaneously, funds transfer and FX. And of course, Ripple is at the center of it. And as we can see, xCurrent on both sides to confirm the FX rates and basically just get full visibility, traceability. You can see the cost and fees, everything. And that is what's so cool. So it's simply an API plugin, and this software, whether, they use Ripple or anything in between, they can white label this technology with XRP as an open source protocol. So that is why a lot of people have been sharing that info, that huge groups like ACI Worldwide may just create their own technology or integrate with, existing partner. All right, xCurrent solution, you can see bidirectional messaging, of course, then the interledger protocol ledger, which requires atomic swaps, if and only if, and then once the payment's paid, then they do the swap. So there's no counterparty risk as well, and it's real-time settlement. This is the future. The more research you do, guys, you'll realize how archaic the current infrastructure is. You'll realize the very small chance that a competitor will be able to do what Ripple has done. And you'll kind of look back and you'll realize how big these behemoths are that are actually backing Ripple. They do not talk too highly. They do not, talk about XRP. It's kind of the one that shouldn't be named. And you'll kind of realize why. It's because they need an open source system to do this on a permissionless basis. It's not going to be, a Fed coin or the US dollar digital, and that's going to be the reserve currency, and I'm not saying XRP will be the reserve currency. What I'm saying is it will be one of the currencies that will be a bridge asset that will be invisible and be on the back end settlement layer for the central banks of the world. I believe that is getting more and more likely, and if not, it'll just capture a huge part of the remittance market. All right, and I feel like you guys kind of get the gist. And again, there's the other thing that Stored XRP or XRP_Stort here on Twitter was sharing. All right. And then right here, we can see process complexity, organizational impact, first global bank to roll out to production, a DLT-based payment solution for individuals. We can see 67% reduction of the global time required to run the whole payment in the European Union from up to 3 days to 1 day. And this, I believe, was just regarding near real-time cross-border with X-Current, all right? Just with improving the actual messaging, not even just the settlement. So this isn't even mentioning XRP yet. With XRP, of course, it's anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds or, 2 minutes at most because of the people have to type certain things in. All right. And there's full end-to-end fund traceability, accurate fee confirmation, as I've been saying. And with X-Current, 60% reduction payment processing cost, treasury operation costs, and reconciliation costs. All right. And remember, R3 is doing a lot of things with reconciliation as well. Right. It's all about communication, interoperability. It's not just with XRP with settlement, but the whole software suite of Ripple is going to play a role. I truly believe whether they adopt Ripple or create their own technology, XRP is still needed. All right, 100% enterprise grade and open source solution accessible through, as I said, APIs capable to scale and be adapted to specific requirements. That's the benefit of being open sourced. They can make changes to cater to their specific needs. All right, now cross-border payment benefits from this. Pre-disclosure fees, improved quality, transparency and data accuracy, global time reduction, and reduced operational costs. All right. All right, let's go to the next thing. So again, be sure to sub to Stort XRP. Let's get them to well over 1,000 subscribers, please. And then right here, so I Am Legion, so Bank of England. And I know we've seen this, but I just wanted to show this again, just to show the groups that are backing Interledger Protocol, XRP, even Ethereum, and a lot of the smart contract, building. So right here, their adoption strategy, they have it right here. Digital assets, XRP and Ethereum. Some of the, maybe there's some altcoins you guys know that will do great things, but if I'm going to bet the bulk of my money, I want a sure return on my investment, not financial advice, any of this. This is just information. Please do your own research. But again, we can see the central banks. For this example, Bank of England, when Mark Carney was the governor. We got micropayments, okay? Codius, boom, we're familiar with that. We got blockchain, Moja Loop, which means in Swahili, one loop for mobile money for a lot of the unbanked populations throughout Africa. And then banks, for example, Ripple. All right, let me go to the next one. So you can see right here, and I'll just speed through this, but essentially, if you guys want to follow I Am Legion on Twitter, highly recommend doing so. And this is the only reason I have Twitter is for XRP research. All right, so again, proof of concepts here with Ripple exploring the synchronized settlement of payments using the Interledger Protocol. ILP and XRP were created in tandem. The plan is for XRP to be used on the Interledger Protocol to bridge the bank networks on XRP's ledger. All right, talking about the real-time gross settlement blueprints. You guys can read more of this. I was going through it earlier. Reflection and next steps. The proof of concept was a useful exercise to develop the bank's understanding of synchronization and possible technical solutions. All right, we can see Interledger Protocol was able to support synchronization of payments between two simulated real-time gross settlement ledgers. The ILP validator created a single source of truth between the two ledgers, eliminating the need for separate processes such as mutual reconciliation between separate ledgers. Boom, getting rid of these operational inefficiencies. Talking about cross-border payments, Ripple product is designed to handle specifically and this is wholesale. This is all like interbank, guys, not retail like us, not retail investors. All right. And then Bank of England's website talking about Ripple, proof of concept with them, gross settlement systems using Ripple Connect. And that's what it was called back in the day. And the Interledger Protocol talking about, lowering settlement risk using this type of synchronization, improving speed and efficiency of cross-border payments. Guys, the Bank of England. This is not just, a local, financial institution or some small group. All right, talking about timelines and settlement and regulatory framework and payment service providers, just talking about those. I feel like I don't need to go in depth with that. Non-banks, talking about Bank of England and actual payment schemes. If you guys want to learn more about that again, payment service providers directly accessing the UK payment system now. All right, simply plugged in, using it. And then also talking about TransferWise. So I know we are familiar with them as well. All right, let's listen to this video by Mark Carney again. And I believe I don't think he's currently anymore. There's so many names I have to keep up with, but essentially he was the governor of the Bank of England. So listen up to this. I'll turn up this volume here. 16 seconds.
Be very active here. Now I'm not fully laying out exactly what we're contemplating doing because we want to make sure we have everything lined up. So as a small commercial, I would say watch this space over the course of 2019 for something substantial.
All right, so just an older clip again. All right, now right here, as we can see, Bank of England has carried out a successful test of Interledger program developed by Ripple, the California-based blockchain specialist, to synchronize a payment between two central bank systems. This is why I believe whether, central banks all develop their own walled garden, their own CBDC, central bank digital currency, they still need, on a permissionless basis, something to bridge the networks, which will be Interledger Protocol, and that's my best guess. It was gifted to the World Wide Web Consortium for, actual internet guidelines. So this is going to be the internet of value rather than the internet of information or data that we see today. So excuse me, and remember, they're going to pick the most efficient asset. My bet it's XRP, or they'll at least make that push for XRP due to the high liquidity, making it even cheaper by the day. All right. Core Systems, just talking about that. And again, Daniel Aranda, head of Europe at Ripple, told Financial Times it allows money to move between countries near instantaneously and without settlement risk. It's all about connectivity between central bank systems rather than replacing the central bank systems with blockchain, simply connecting them. This sounds exactly like what regulators and what these central bankers want to hear. They're working with the system. They're not trying to be anarchists. And from this point of view, guys, as an investor, this is what I'm looking at. Who has put in the most money into this? What blockchains, or at least projects or tokens, will be most successful? That's why I believe XRP, whether, how many final shakeouts we have, no matter how low and manipulated the price goes, I believe that there's going to be tremendous upside when this happens. And the longer we stay low, the more bullish and the more it seems that we might see a few big jumps that are happening quickly rather than a slow and steady rise, because people would catch on to that. And I've shared that, view. David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, has also shared that as well. All right, talking about eligibility for Bank of England settlement accounts, payment service providers, more settlements, legal documentation, monetary frameworks, accessing, using reserves and settlement accounts. And then again, the picture that XRP_Stort shared as well, just showing this. Look, Apple Pay's right there. We got the Eurozones connected with the UK banks in the United States, and Earthport's able to connect them with Xcurrent. And as we can see here, Ripple's Xcurrent solution, enabling near real-time payments and settlements. But I digress, guys. I just don't understand how people think, XRP is not meant for big things. If you guys think XRP is a scam, it is the most institutionally backed, or most regulated scam that actually solves true use cases, and that almost all the biggest banks and governments and financial institutions have, with proof of concepts and trials dating back to 5+ years ago. That's what I want to say to that. All right, and then lastly, we're going to finish up with this because I feel like I've been ranting a lot. This is shared by I Am Legion again, just talking about the stages of the Interledger protocol. I just want to share these few pictures. Why are you excited about ILP? Because it allows software to pay software. True automation, guys. All right, why are you excited about ILP? Interledger changes the rules of the internet. It's like changing the laws of physics. Next, with Internet of Information, guys, as we saw, packet switching, okay? We can see what happens here. With them, since they're sending and transmitting value, with Interledger, it is like penny switching. I absolutely love that concept, right? Taking the most efficient path, instead of sending packets and information, it's the most efficient path to send value. Right? And then just like with packet switching and the user is sending, these larger files, of course, are split into smaller packets to get to the host. Well, the same concept can be with large payments. It can kind of be batched payments. These smaller payments in value are fragmented until they finally get there. And then boom, it's all switched thanks to atomic settlement or atomic swaps. All right. So with that, guys, I feel like I could go on and on. I have like 50 tabs open. I want to do like a 3-hour video, but I feel like it's just going to be too noisy here. My mouth's going to get dry because I talk a little fast. But again, I appreciate it as always. Remember to check the links in the description. Tax-free crypto Roth IRAs. We got exchanges, cold wallets down below. Shout out to Jamie XRP and all other top channel members. Thank you guys for your support. Appreciate all of you that hit the like button. And until next time.